Good morning. Today's going to be a fairly quick video. I want to go through last night's homework assignment, so go ahead and get it out. We're going to work through all 5 of the problems that I gave you, and then after that is over, you are going to work on a worksheet that's front and back, and it's additional practice with adding, subtracting, and multiplying polynomials. The expectations is that you will use class time to work on this. So if the substitute gives me a note that you were sleeping or that you were talking or that you were wasting class time, and then I come back tomorrow and check it and it's not done, then we're going to have some issues. So let's not do that. Let's utilize class time today to work on that worksheet that will be passed out after I've gone through these 5 problems. So here we go. We're going to go through a couple of them pretty quickly, and then the others will take a little bit more time. So remember, 13 and 14 were just subtraction, both of them. See, there's clearly a big minus sign in between these 2 polynomials. So I know for sure I am simply combining like terms. So first of all, I take this first polynomial and I make sure it's in standard form. So I've got this negative 6x to the 4th, that's the biggest one. Then I've got this positive 8x to the 3rd. And then I got this positive 3. Now I'm going to just kind of slide it over a little bit further to the right because there's a little bit of gap between these, and I'm just going to make sure in case there's anything here, and I don't think there is. But remember the rule. If that's a minus sign, these signs all have to change. So 3x cubed, it won't come down as 3x cubed. It'll come down as negative 3x cubed. Now where does it come down? Well, it comes down right underneath the 8x cubed. So that's minus 3x cubed right here. This minus 3 will change and become a positive 3 right here. And this positive 8x to the 4th will become a negative 8x to the 4th, and it'll slide underneath the negative 6 because those are like terms. So combining these directly, stacked on top of each other, negative 6 minus 18 is negative 14, and your variable remains the same. Positive 8 minus 3 is positive 5, and your variable remains the same. And then positive 3 plus 3 is plus 6, and there was nothing else there. I left that gap for no reason. But there it is. There's my answer in standard form. Number 14. Again, you see multiple variables here, so I'm going to do it alphabetically. I got A's and B's, so A's come first, and that's my biggest one. So it's going to be 4a to the 4th, b squared. My next biggest a is right here, a squared, so that's positive 2, a squared b. Then I've got this minus 5b cubed. There's my standard form for this one. Now, again, just like we mentioned, this is also subtraction, so we're combining like terms, but because that's subtraction, these signs to the right all have to change. So 7b cubed becomes negative 7b cubed, and I'm clearly dropping it below the negative 5b cubed. Positive 8a to the 4th b squared becomes negative 8a to the 4th b squared, and it's going to fall underneath the 4a to the 4th b squared. And then negative 7a squared b becomes positive 7a squared b, and it falls underneath its like term as well. So there they are. They're all stacked now on top of their like terms. So all we have to do is combine. So 4 minus 8, negative 4. Variable stays the same. Positive 2 plus 7 is plus 9. Variable stays the same. And then negative 5 minus 7 is negative 12. Variable remains the same. And there you have it. Adding and subtracting polynomials. Now, if you flip over to the back, you're going to see why these are different than the ones on the front. There's literally no plus signs in between these polynomials. So what that means is it's all being multiplied. Now, a question was asked yesterday, do I distribute negative 3x to both of these? No, it's all being multiplied. So basically what we do is we multiply straight across. So for example, I'm going to take negative 3x and multiply it by 5x plus 1. And whenever I get that result, Then I'll multiply that by the 8 minus 2x. So that result will multiply by that, and that will give me my final answer. So let's go ahead and do that. What is negative 3x times 5x? Well, that's negative 15, and then remember x times x, x squared. And then negative 3x times positive 1 is just negative 3x. So we've taken care of that. Now we've got to multiply that by the 8 minus 2x. So here we go. I'm going to go negative 15x squared times 8. Well, negative 15 times 8 is a negative 120. Man, I hope that's right. X squared. If that's not right, I'm a bad math teacher, huh? Then we got negative 15x squared times negative 2x. Now look at that. There's two things about this I want you to consider. One, negative times negative is positive. Of course, 15 times 2 is 30, but x squared times x, that's x cubed. That's bigger than x squared. It needs to go over here. So that's a positive 30 x cubed. All right, now we're done with that negative 15x. Let's move to negative 3x. What's negative 3x times 8? Well, negative 3x times 8 is negative 24x. It didn't have anything to go with, so I just put it over there to the right because it's smaller than x squared. And then finally, negative 3x times negative 2x. Negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6, but x times x is x squared, so positive 6x squared. And there they are. That's all my multiplication. So now I'm going to simply combine those like terms. So 30x cubed drops straight down. 6 minus 120. Again, I like to do the positive number first. 6 minus 120 is negative 114, and the variable stays the same. And then minus 24x. And we've done all of our multiplication. That's my final answer. Okay? Move on here to number 16. Again, very similar to the last one. I can't just go multiplying all those together all at once. So you kind of have to work your way across. So I'm going to do a plus b times 3a minus b first. So here we go. Ready? A times 3a, 3a squared. A times negative b is negative ab. Right? You can't multiply a and b. You just leave them right next to each other. But then this one confused a couple people yesterday when they saw this problem. If I do positive b times 3a, it's obviously positive 1 times positive 3 is positive 3. But I'm not going to write that as ba. Okay? I'm still going to put it in alphabetical order. So even though I'm going b times a, I'm still going to call it positive 3 ab. So it's like terms with that negative ab that I had already done. I hope that makes sense. And then finally, positive b times negative b is negative b squared. Now remember, y'all, this is just these two being multiplied. So I still have to multiply by this 2a plus 7b. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and combine these like terms here. And since we all have pencils with erasers, 3 minus 1 is a positive 2ab. And now I'm ready to go ahead and multiply by the last portion of this, and then the problem will be complete. All right, so here we go. This is a little harder, though, because we're going to have a bunch of variables getting thrown at you. So here we go. 3a squared times 2a. Okay, do the numbers first. 3 times 2 is 6. And a squared times a to the first is a to the third. Then 3a squared times positive 7b. Again, 3 times 7 is positive 21. And a squared times b is a squared b. Okay? Now, we're done with the 3a squared. Now let's move to the positive 2ab. Positive 2ab times 2a. All right, so let's start with the numbers. Positive 2 times positive 2 is positive 4. But ab times a, The a's will combine to be a squared, and the b is alone. So that's going to be a positive 4a squared b, which makes it like terms with that 21a squared b I had earlier. Okay, next, I also have to do 2ab times 7b. Well, positive 2 times positive 7 is positive 14. But ab times b, the b will multiply by b and get b squared. So that's positive 14ab squared. Don't let all these variables mess you up, okay? We're just, look, here when I did 2ab times 7b, 2 times 7 is 14. A stays A. B times B becomes B squared. All right, last one. We're going to do negative B squared times 2A. Well, that's negative 1 times 2. That's negative 2. B squared times A is AB squared. So that's negative 2AB squared. And then finally, negative B squared times positive 7B. Negative 1 times 7 is negative 7. And B squared times B to the first is B to the third. So there it is. That's all of my multiplication. And that was a lot. But that is going to produce my final answer, which is 6a cubed. 21 plus 4 is 25. Your variable remains a squared b. 14 minus 2 is positive 12. And that'll be ab squared. And then minus 7b cubed. And there is your final answer. And again, I know that's a lot. And I know it's easy to get lost in all that. So hopefully you were able to follow along. Now remember, I told you I didn't want you to do number 17. It was a pretty hard one. So let's finalize this assignment by doing number 18 together, okay? Again, look, every one of these are just jammed right next to each other. They're all being multiplied. But I can't do all that multiplication all at once. So I'm going to start right here, okay? I'm going to start with 4 times 2. That's 8. And 4 times negative 3w, that's negative 12w. And then, of course, we got that plus 8. So I'm going to switch that around a little bit because I like putting them in standard form. And since 4 times negative 3w is got a variable, I'm going to put it out front. Now I'm going to finish this off by multiplying it by w squared minus 2w plus 10. So here we go. Negative 12w times w squared is negative 12w cubed. Negative 12w times negative 2w. Negative 12 times negative 2 is positive 24. And w times w, w squared. Finally, negative 12w times positive 10 is negative 120w. Okay, hopefully you can follow all that logic. It's pretty simple. We're ready now to move to the 8. 8 times w squared is 8w squared. We know where that goes. 8 times negative 2w is negative 16w. It goes right there. And then 8 times positive 10 is positive 80. It's your constant. It's at the end. So my final answer, when I combine my like terms, are negative 12w cubed. 24 plus 8 is 32w squared. Negative 120w minus 16w is negative 136w, and then plus 80. So my answer, as you can see, is negative 12w cubed plus 32w squared minus 136w plus 80. And that's how you do this, y'all. It's, again, tedious. It's easy to make mistakes if you're not careful. That's why I try to stay really organized when I do this, and hopefully you guys can as well. Now, you have two portions today. You have a front and a back. The front looks like this. Actually, clicked the wrong one. The front looks like this. You can see you have some adding. Whoops, I don't know why I did that. You've got some adding. You've got some subtracting. Bunch of subtracting. Look at all that. You got some more adding, subtracting. So this front side is really adding and subtracting polynomials. So lots of practice there. Feel free to do your work on a separate sheet of paper. That would probably be very smart to get a sheet of paper out. And then on the back, you're going to see some adding and subtracting to start with, but then starting with number 5, you're going to see a whole lot of multiplying. I do want to show you one thing. On number 11 and 12, they use exponents. So what I want you to do when you see those exponents is I want you to change it. X minus 4 squared means you're doing x minus 4 times x minus 4. So all of a sudden that looks just like the ones above it. The number 12, though, you're going to do 2x plus 6 cubed. So times 2x plus 6 times 2x plus 6. So you're going to multiply all that out in order to come up with your answer. So when you see those being cubed like that where it's on the outside, that's how you deal with it. Now look, if you see that on number 10, for example, yeah, it's squared, but it's on the inside. The whole thing's not being squared, so it's treated a little differently. So I want you to work right now in class on that, and tomorrow I will check it, and then we will go over it. And with that being Friday, that will be the way we finish the week. Okay, so I want to see these done. You've got about 30 minutes in class, maybe just a little shy of 30 minutes in class to get a lot of this done, if not all of it. So don't waste time. Don't fall asleep. Don't start talking. Do your work. See you tomorrow.